Guitar on YouTube, the buff guy on Twitch. Good to see y'all again. I'm gonna do another tutorial here today. This is about sidestepping. When to sidestep and all this shit. And I didn't write a script down, I didn't do any of this shit. I just kind of, I'm just winging it again, like I did in my last tutorial about punishment and what is punishment. You should check that video out, it's on YouTube. And, yeah. So, this one is mostly about just what direction to sidestep certain moves, what is sidestep left, what is sidestep right, that kind of stuff. So it's not going to be too long, but it's going to hopefully help some people out here. Okay, so first of all, what's sidestep left and what's sidestep right? Well, sidestep left is the direction of your limb, the direction of your left limb, your characters, not your opponent's characters. Your left is their right. So if a move tracks to if the move your opponent is doing tracks to their right, that means you don't sidestep that move left. Okay? That's confusing, I know. But because it tracks to their right, you sidestepping left, you're just going to get killed because you are going to their right when you're sidestepping left, okay? So keep that in mind for the rest of the video, because I'm only going to be referring to sidestep right and moves that track to the right and to the left in terms of which direction your character needs to move in, okay? So just to clear up any confusion, because I already tried doing this tutorial once and I screwed myself over with the directions and shit. It's so confusing. And I'm a huge stoner. No, I'm not. I've never even tried pot, to be honest, but I have the brain of a stoner. So, memory of a goldfish. So, okay, so the tracking, sidestep to the left is this way, sidestep to the right is that way. And it's the reverse for the other side of the screen, because this is my left arm, this is my right arm, you know, so I need to keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind now. Now, there are certain characters in the game that require you to sidestep, either sidestep right or sidestep left most of the time. And it really depends on the moves that the character has, okay? So, most of the time, for characters like Devil Jin, Heihachi, Kazuya, Claudio, Anna, Lei, Lee, friggin' Jack, those guys. All those guys require you to sidestep to the left. For example, those are just examples. Now, sidestepping to the right, certain characters like Bob, like Nina, like Paul, like Brian, like Law, like the Bears, the fucking Bears, man. Those guys require you to sidestep mostly to the right, and it's because, not because, you know, they're just the types of characters they are, but because the moves that they have, sidestep left will mostly get destroyed by, because they track to the left, okay? So they've got a lot more moves. For example, those sidestep right only characters have a lot more moves that track to your left than they do that track to your right. So that's why you need to sidestep those characters right most of the time. Now, there are exceptions. Every character has moves that track to their bad side, and every character has homing moves and all that stuff, right? And some characters even have moves that kind of track like somewhere in the middle, like spread out a little bit, like Noctis, down back 1+2, tracks from this distance where we are right now, which is, you know, range 3, I guess. Noctis down back 1+2 tracks to both sides, sort of. Now, from this distance, it's completely linear. You can step it pretty much either direction. But from this distance, you're looking at a semi-homing move. It's pretty dangerous. So not every move is like that, but here's an example of a move that, so like I said already, oops, sorry, I already did the record thing for this, but whatever, I'll do it again. Devil Jin, for example, he requires you to sidestep left most of the time, but he does have exceptions. Like his homing moves, like this, you know, and this, and that. You know, those are all homing moves. So those are going to hit you no matter where you're stepping. You need to be really leery of those moves, because those do hit you no matter where you're going. But he's also got a move, not just one, but this move here. So if you're gonna So I was sidewalking left there. And that still hit me. So sidestepping left is usually the Mishima's bad side, right? You don't usually get hit by that. Look how consistently it's tracking. So that's crazy. Now if I sidestep it right, oh, he whiffed. Check it out. So that's what I'm talking about. So because Devil Jin has a move like that makes him also one of the best Mishimas for that reason alone as well, because Kazuya only has homing moves. None of his moves track to his right. Almost all of them only track to your opponent's right, not your right. So let's do... That's why it's so easy to step Kazuya to the left. So let's do something like Hell Sweep. Okay? So, oh, hold on. I probably should have jabbed first, because this is tricky. But see, look at that. Sidestep lefting, or a sidestep lefting? Yeah, sidestep lefting does the trick. But if you sidestep right now, oh, he nicked me. I was sidewalking there, and he still got me. So that's the same direction that. Sidestep right is not the direction you want to be sidestepping the Mishimas. But Devil Jin is a special case because he has while standing too. It's a dangerous move because you're usually going to be stepping the Mishimas to the left. But there's only one move and it's a launcher and it's not that unsafe and you know, it's dangerous. So there's that mind game mix up with Devil Jin. And a lot of characters have that where they have a bunch of moves that track to their bad side. A little bit. So, now there's homing moves, you know. Kazuya's got that. While standing 3, he's got back 4, which I think is his best homing move. Personally, it's fast. You know, it's a homing move. It's great. And it launches on counter hit, which is awesome, you know. Can't complain with a move that launches on counter hit. And if they're sidestepping, they're probably going in for a punish right away, right? Like, so, you know, if I'm going to sidestep, I'm going to want to punish right away. Sidestep, punish, sidestep. Well, you don't want to punish with that, but let's record real quick. All right. So, here we go. We're sidestepping to the... No, I don't want to do electric here. I want to do Hell Sweep here. So we're going to sidestep, and then... Or we're going to jab, and then we're going to do a Hell Sweep, because that one you need to sidestep to the left. So we're going to show you a quick example of a sidestep punish here. So... Okay. So let's try that now. Okay, so there was the first punish. You get the idea. I'm not doing the appropriate combos, but, you know... Whoops, I was a crouch there. But, yeah. Well, you get the idea there. So, you know, that's what you need to be doing when you're sidestepping, which is why I like moves like back 4 for Kazuya, because it catches people that are trying to sidestep you and then immediately punish, because a lot of people just go for the sidestep and then immediately go for the launch. You know, sidestep, immediate launch. You know, they think you're going to just do a quick move. Some people do the, you know, the jab punish. You know, jab punish is always safe. Always, you know, if you're not too sure what they're going to do and you sidestep something, just jab them. But, you know, again, back 4 will catch them doing that too, which is, you know, it's just a good move. Down back 2 does the same thing. But you can punish down back 2, or down forward 2, sorry, not down back 2. Down forward 2 is just as homing. And every character has a fast homing move. That's just, you gotta find your character's homing move. Lots of lists will tell you what it is online and all that. I don't know what character you guys use, but, you know, that's the gist of it. So, that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to it. Sidestepping and punishing is really crucial in this game. Just remember that you got to figure out which characters you need to sidestep right and which ones you need to sidestep left. And again, I reiterate, the reason why you're sidestepping certain characters left is because they have a lackluster amount of moves that track to that side for them. They have a lot of linear moves, like a jab is really linear. You can sidestep a jab, no problem. It's very fast. It's very hard to do. You know, a standard, normal standing 3 is usually very linear, which means they don't track to any side. They only track to, you know, that move. This move here, forward 3 with Kazuya, extremely linear. This does not track to either side. So as soon as this move comes out, you can sidestep the crap out of that. You know, lots of characters have totally linear moves, and then there's moves that, you know, track to one side, track to the other side, track to kind of both sides, track to the whole freaking spectrum because they're homing moves. You know, there's a different level of it. It's just about what character has how many moves that track to their bad side. If they have a bad side, like for example, Law has really weak. Well, you step Law to the right. So he does not have a lot of moves that track to his left. Because his left is your right, right? So that's why you step Law to your right. So when you're fighting Law, you want to be pretty much going in this direction and punishing with anything you can. And, you know, just watching out for his garbage, too, because he's got that, you know, Dragon Tail and his... Junkyard, which you should parry on reaction, but Junkyard is very linear too. The Junkyard doesn't track very well, so you can sidestep that and punish that, no problem. Oops. Just want to get a couple electrics in here. I haven't warmed up yet, so I'm really itching to do some electrics. Oh, almost at 5. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is you gotta just focus on your character first, figure out what your weak side is, and then, you know, try to work around that. So that's why, okay, for Mishima's, because Kazuya has a bad, like, you can step him to the left so easily. He has no moves that track to his right side. So, you want to be stepping Kazuya to the left all goddamn day. He's got just, you know, linear hell sweep. I mean, electric is pretty good for his right, or for his left, sorry. It tracks a tiny bit to his left. Well, not a tiny bit, actually. Electric tracks pretty good to the left, to be honest. But that's the only move you got to be worrying about. It's not even that good to the left, though. You can step it easily if you just sidestep left. So when you're mixing up with Kazuya, the reason people wave dash so much with Mishima's, for example, is because every wave dash that you do realigns with your opponent. So if your opponent is sidestepping you, you can wave dash right in their face, and if they've just done, unless they're sidewalking, they're gonna get nuked by some kind of launcher that you just threw out, because. Like forward 4-3, for example, that's a very linear move. But if you wave dash a couple times into forward 3, there's a really good chance you're going to catch them because you're now realigning with your opponent very slowly. That's the whole point of wave dashing. So it's a very handy move to learn how to do. I'll probably maybe do a tutorial on that later, but there's so many of them online right now, you don't really need one for wave dashing. It's basically the opposite of Korean backdashing. You know, it's not that hard. I have a pretty garbage wave dash right now because my thumb is so freaking cold and I can barely do electrics at the moment. But that's one way to get around your character's weak side. Find out what your character has for a weak side and what you can do to get around your weak side, and that way you can, you know, if all you have is your homing moves, maybe one of your homing moves is safe, so abuse the crap out of that. There's ways to get around your opponent stepping you. So stay on your toes, be vigilant, you know, keep practicing, you know, figure out your matchups and what you really suck at sidestepping, and, you know, maybe there's some strings out there that you're having a really big problem with stepping, or getting around. Maybe you need to duck them, maybe you need to step them, you know, you got to figure that out. So you know, just remember that this is a 3D game and sidestepping is crucial, and it's really important to know that kind of information. So I'm going to call it quits for now. I'll be back on later tonight for Twitch. I'm going to stream some more and keep rocking out and keep gaming. Love you guys. And have a good one.